Hey guys, welcome to the live. Today I have Dustin Gerowski. Today we're gonna talk about a deal that he recently did. It's a Subto homestead, so he's living on it right now, and it's a VA loan. So he took over a VA loan and is using his own whole life policy to fund the entry to get in to buy this house. Dustin Gerowski is based in Miami, Florida, but he just moved to Orlando, which is amazing. So yeah, Dustin, tell us a little bit about this deal that you did, how you found it, if it was direct to agent, direct to the seller. Tell us all the details. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a little east of Orlando, New Smyrna Beach, and then I found it actually in the private Subto group. So it was one of those that it didn't quite cash flow, which didn't matter for me because I was purposely looking for something that I would move into.
Okay.
So um, yeah, the seller, he was using his VA benefits. Um, he wasn't paying property tax at all. So then by the time someone bought it and then adjusted for property tax, it'd be slightly negative cash flow as like a long-term rental.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but especially when you look at inflation and everything going on in the world, I was like, okay, well, in a year, two, maybe 3 years, it'll be cash flowing. So it didn't really matter. Um, but because of that, it was the entry price was like before closing costs is like a 5% entry.
Okay.
Um, this is a wholesaler in the private Subto community that I found it from. Yeah, it's a VA loan, 4.5%. It was built at the end of 2022, so it's pretty new, 16, 18 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a cool win-win. So it's like everyone involved, like the seller, he didn't have equity. It was a VA
Mm-hmm.
loan where he didn't put any money down. So if he wanted to sell normal, he would have had to cut a check. The wholesalers that found it, they got an assignment fee,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got to. It's funny that I got to get buy this house,
Yeah.
and the we had 2 months left on our lease in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
so we found someone to to take over our lease. We negotiated. We're like, hey, we'll pay 20% of the lease if you want to move in the last 2 months. That what's really interesting though is the amount of a credit check, background check, financial was way more extensive for her to take over my lease than it was to buy this.
By its subject to.
Yeah, it's way easier to buy this house than it was for someone to take over my lease. And I found that pretty interesting.
So good, man. Let me
Yeah.
rewind for a second because you have mentioned many things. Maybe for people, people for sub two, like we understand what is happening right now, like right away. But like for people that is hearing this for the first time, so you mentioned like this seller was looking to sell. Like it sounds that this seller also bought this house that you're living in, like for not a very long time. So can you explain a little bit like how was this like a win-win for everyone? Everyone, because you also mentioned you bought this from a sub to student. This seller was looking to sell, but she was tight on equity. So if she was to sell this house in a traditional way, she will have to cut a check. So tell us a little bit more. How was this like a win-win, and how you bought this? You also mentioned you bought it with using the whole life policy. So a little bit more of a breakdown on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the seller, he's a single retired military guy. He's in
Mm-hmm.
his 50s. And then he bought it barely a year ago. And with the VA loan, he didn't have to put any money down in his situation. Um, the if you look on Zillow, the property's worth right around 370,
370.
and then
Okay.
the mortgage balance is like 350. So
350.
even if someone wanted to pay exactly what Zillow said,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be pretty. There's not really enough equity if you were to sell it on the normal market. which he did try and he couldn't.
Mhm,
Um, where because if he had to pay all the closing costs, which would
mhm.
be pretty normal, um, he'd have to come out of pocket because closing costs. I mean, depending on the situation we're at, could be 8 to 10%. So
Yeah,
that's 30 something thousand. And so you could see mortgage routes 350, Zillow's 370. There's only 20K left for spread there, best case scenario.
she will have to cut
So
a check like for like 10K, 15K, something like that, a little bit
yeah,
more. And
yeah.
this deal was on the market.
He tried for a little bit, yeah. But he had to keep the price elevated for it to make any sense.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't sell. I think he was trying last year. Technically, this was an expired listing for the
Okay.
wholesalers that found it. So
So they tried to sell it
that's
this on the market with an agent. They couldn't sell it.
mhm.
I'm assuming that this like the Subto student that sold it to you like was trying to made the deal work with the agent, but maybe it expired and that's why he reached out to the seller afterwards. I can assume,
Yeah.
and that's how they work a deal with him, right?
Yep. So instead of him having to cut a check, I was able to give the seller cash and the wholesaler cash.
Amazing.
And yeah, the entry was 5, 6% for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used, like you mentioned, I did use a whole
All
life
right.
policy.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with a basic policy to learn how I can use it, how quickly I can do things. And it was pretty cool. I was able to fund the policy, and then I did an annual contribution.
Okay.
And then within 2 weeks, I was able to pull out a pretty good percentage of the capital. And then I
Mhm.
used that to pay a good, not all for this deal, but a large portion of the cost for me to get into this.
Into it.
And then technically, I don't have to pay that back.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't, it would just be reduced from the death benefit.
Okay. So there is like a certain benefit amount that you have on this whole life policy that you can
Yeah.
use, or how does it work?
This is the starter policy. I'm going to do a couple others, but the numbers I paid roughly 10K total, and
Okay.
it bought right around 200,000 in the death benefit. And then I was able to pull out, I think, 80% of that, roughly. So
Okay.
right around 8K. I'm estimating, so it's not exact
Yeah.
numbers, but it's pretty close. So I used that 8K, and they call it like a policy loan. And so technically, I don't have to ever pay that back. That 8K would just be reduced from the death benefit eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, I used that 8K to help pay the cash to the seller, the wholesaler, closing costs.
Nice. Let me ask
And
you
so
about the.
it's,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say the other cool thing about it is in the shortest form, simple form, that 10K is still growing at a net one ish 2% is the end result. So even though I'm borrowing against it,
Mhm.
that policy, the cash value is still growing as if, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's so good. For let me ask you about the whole life policy. Like, is this something like what are the requirements to get this whole life policy? Like, can anyone get this, or how do you get this? How do you
Oh,
know this? Yeah.
yeah. So I did it from because they're talking about it in Subto, like the private Zooms. How he's been doing it. Pace has been doing it with Hannah. So
Yeah.
they're with the Money Multipliers team, and so it was pretty easy, especially if you're below a certain age. I didn't have to even do a blood test or anything.
Okay.
They I filled out a questionnaire, and so then yeah, it was pretty
Pretty,
fast.
pretty easy.
Yeah, And so I was able to do it in a couple of weeks and then access the fund it, and then pull the capital from it all
Mhm.
within probably like 4 or 5 weeks.
So good,
And
man.
then and then in the future though, since the policy is already established, you can get the capital out pretty quick, like a couple days.
Nice. I mean,
So
that's amazing. This is the first time that I hear something like this, where someone uses their whole life policy like to acquire a deal. And the best
yeah,
thing is that you are living on this one. So that's really cool. What was
yeah,
the
yeah.
interest rate on this VA?
It was 4.5% VA
4.5%.
loan,
Wow. Like
and
right now
then
we have interest rates of 7.58%, right? So amazing.
yeah, yeah. So the plan is the PITI on this will be, because I have to get, or you have to do the new insurance, and then
Okay.
the property taxes I'll start paying on those because he didn't have to before. So the PITI though, it looks like it'll be around 2,500.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Market rent is right around that, like 23 to 25. So
Okay.
the plan is I'll stay in this probably a year, maybe two, and then I'll buy the next another sub two deal with the whole life again, move
Nice.
out of this, turn it into a rental.
Mm-hmm.
Once I know it can at least cash flow a couple $100. So yeah, that's the plan. Just kind of rinse and repeat, and just kind of move around based on that.
That's so good.
Because we can buy, like you and I in the private sub two community, those ones that don't cash flow,
Mm-hmm.
we can really negotiate those down. Like they're, in my opinion, it's the easier ones to buy. We can get really low entries on them,
Mm-hmm.
and then if I live in it a year or two, giving time for rent to go up, it's a win-win.
Win-win. That's really good because there are many. I would say like some students or people that they just look at the numbers, between the PITI and how much they can rent it for as a long-term rental, and they see that it's not cash flowing and say this is not a deal. And
Yeah,
that's not the case. You just gotta find someone that is doing maybe mid-term rentals or short-term rentals, or if those don't work as well, they have to find someone like you, like a homestead buyer, right? So
yeah.
those are still deals that you can assign.
And also too, when you look at it from, because I think people get too focused on the short-term perspective, but if you look at this house from a 10-year perspective,
Hmm.
so just using average data, like average purchase price or average house is worth 400K, average annual increase, like appreciation on the house is 5%, and then it'll compound. And then I looked up the loan amortization table, like the principal pay down.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from a 10-year perspective,
Hmm.
I'm I'll make about 36 grand in equity a year.
Wow.
So it's like even though it doesn't cash flow, the annual equity accumulation is averaged out, of
Yeah.
course, bigger in the later years, smaller in the front
Hmm.
end, but yeah, 36.
So good.
So, but yeah, man, I just want to show you the outside real quick. I think it'd be cool to,
See. You said it in Orlando, right?
so it's east of Orlando.
East of Orlando.
Yeah, New Smyrna.
And how
Show
how
you.
how old is the, like, it's a brand new house, right? As well.
Yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
it's a year old.
Got the neighbors.
So yeah,
Man, the
everyone,
area is
they're
so
all
good.
newer houses.
Uh-huh. Wow, man. Congrats.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, and any other things that come to mind, or anything else you want to,
Oh, man, like
any other
that's
details you want to talk about?
so amazing. I would love to, like, us, like, in your real estate business, like what are you looking for, like, to accomplish this year, like to 2024? Like what are you looking for? Like are you looking for long-term rental? Like, are you looking to buy and hold? Are you looking to assign? Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, so I do a blend. I wholesale a couple deals each month, creative deals.
Okay.
I'm so I'm always open to JV with people and stuff like that. And then I am buying. I plan on buying a couple more this year
Okay.
with partners. So those are my main two priorities. Pretty focused on the Florida market. Just trying
Florida
to keep a
market.
narrow focus. Yeah, we have one property about to go live in Orlando. It's going to be a pad split. It's going to go live in like 2 weeks. So we're doing a couple different things all at once.
Like, it has many bedrooms and bathrooms on that one. Was the
Eight bed, four bath.
bedroom for bath? Wow,
Yeah, we just put up the last couple two walls.
man.
So I'm about to go over there and take some pictures. I know it's a drive, but you're welcome to check it out with me anytime.
Where is it located again?
So that one, it's southeast Orlando. It's probably like
Oh,
a 3 hour drive for you.
you're from Miami, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Now is like how far is it from you? Like 30 minutes? How long
Yeah,
where
pretty
you live?
much. 30,
So
40, not much more.
nice. So you are assigning mainly in Florida as well, or also like, or in what states are you assigning? You are doing
Yeah.
deals.
Yeah. So we're doing deals mostly in Florida
Mhm.
and then a little bit in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah. I want to do my first wrap soon is the plan. So we're going to buy a non-cash flowing creative deal,
Mm-hmm.
probably Florida, maybe Texas, and then um, we're gonna we're gonna find a wrap buyer.
A buyer.
Hmm.
So good, man. Um, and like, what are you looking like for the audience that can bring you? What are you looking for? Like, are you looking for private money lenders, private money partners? Are you looking like to JV more?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is if anyone wants to partner with us, like private money partners, we'll be doing a blend of wraps, buy and holds. My main business partner, he has about 40 properties already, so like we have a blend of a good network. That's where I focus on, and then my partner, he's owned several properties for many years, so he has a
Hmm.
lot of experience on managing that side, doing it the right way.
Nice. Okay, so private money partners. Okay. So before we
Private
wrap
money
up,
partners,
private
and
money
then
partners.
yeah, private money partners, and then buying creative deals here in Florida.
Nice. Okay. Oh, perfect, man. No, I really appreciate you. Congrats again. I appreciate you for your time.
Yeah,
Guys, if
yeah,
you want
thank
to
you.
learn more about the whole eye policy, how you can get this as well, so you can acquire properties. Dustin is looking for private money partners, so you can get into deals. They will manage the houses for you. Um, and before we wrap up, make sure you reach out to Dustin. I will leave. What is your preferred way so people can reach out to you
Instagram,
on
just my
Instagram?
first and last name on Instagram. Yeah,
I will put all the information on the description below, and yeah, make sure to reach out to Dustin. Dustin, thank you so much. Again, it was a really nice story on how you got this deal that you are living on it right now. So no, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
yeah. Thanks for having me, man. It was good talking again.
Let's do
Appreciate your
another
time.
one. All right, let's do
Yeah,
it. Thank you, Dustin.
yeah.
Bye bye.